Hello there, welcome to another review, and this time it is 28 Days Later. Now, this is a film that I saw when it was in theaters. I did see this in theaters back in the day, and I remember having a good time. I think this is before I graduated high school when this came out, and I had seen the trailers for it. I forget where I saw the trailers for it. It just looked interesting, looked intriguing. When I saw the film, I was very impressed by it. Yeah, I remember this is a time when this kind of stuff was not every week a direct-to-video, direct-to-DVD, where, well, they're not zombies, they're just infected people. This was not a typical thing, as it soon came to be after that. It's directed by Danny Boyle, who I thought did a really good job with this. I would easily say this is one of my favorite Danny Boyle films. I also liked one he did after this called Sunshine. I didn't care for The Beach. That's one he did with Leonardo DiCaprio. I could never get into The Beach. But I still have yet to see Trainspotting. One day I will. One day I will give that a shot with Ewan McGregor. He did 127 hours, which I will review that soon. That one and this one, although I do like Sunshine, I think I reviewed that. But this one, 127 hours, those are my two favorite Danny Boyle films. And it stars Cillian Murphy, who would also be in Sunshine. He would be Scarecrow in the Nolan Batman films, among other flicks. He's a guy who wakes up in the hospital and he finds out that London is empty. He doesn't know why the hell London is empty, what's going on. He's yelling hello. If you take a drink every time he says hello, you fucking die of alcohol poisoning. But despite that, Cillian Murphy, I think, does a really good job as a guy who's just trying to figure out what's going on and then just trying to survive the situation. Before that, the movie shows that this research station are testing stuff on monkeys. And it's a virus known as the rage virus. And at one point, these monkeys being shown all this riot and unrest footage as if it was Clockwork Orange or something. And you have some monkeys in cages. I thought the director did some nice stuff. Like, even with these monkeys in cages, at times there's these still freeze frames that he does. Like, monkeys pounding on the cage and then a still frame. Or shaking the cage, then a still frame. And this is a film I felt that the way the camera work was done fit with the tone of the movie, because it's supposed to be a very chaotic flick. And again, you're dealing with a rage virus. These people come in to rescue the monkeys, but they fucked up. They get infected with rage, and then 28 days later, that's where you get Cillian Murphy waking up. And even when I saw this in the theater, I loved the way London looked, of how empty it was. And it's like, man, how the hell did they film London this empty? Empty streets, buses turned over, this wall with all these missing people and missing notes. Like, if you've seen this person, please contact me at this. And I'm like, how the hell did they... This really does look like London is empty. It's not a CG effect. It's not on a green screen. They actually made it. Well, they shot it in early stages, early ages. It kind of reminded me of another film I enjoyed called Night of the Comet. I'm like, man, how the hell did they make those cities look empty? And it's because they filmed it at certain times, and sometimes they blocked the streets for a short amount of time, and they shot maybe early in the morning or on a dead time in the city and during specific times. And I thought it very effective. That's not easy to do. And just the stuff that Cillian Murphy finds, like this church. and all these people dead from mass suicide. And even watching it today, there's some pretty creepy moments. For example, when he's in the church and he goes, hello, and then it just cuts to these people in the back just popping up and looking with no noise. Just staring back at him. And I don't know why, but that shot was like, wow, that's a little bit creepy. And then this infected priest starts chasing him. All these other guys start chasing him. And you get this scene here. And he finds two people who are normal, and they're throwing Molotov cocktails. And you have real people on fire, like running while on fire. And it's not... Nowadays they do it with horrible digital work of fire. But these are real people on fire, and I'm like, holy shit, that looks intense. And like, how the hell did they film that? How the hell did these people not get burned? And then it results in this gas station being blown up. And Cillian Murphy gets saved by these two people. The guy who it's a guy and a woman. And the guy makes this joke of like a guy and a giraffe. You know, a guy and a giraffe go to a bar, and they both get drunk, and the giraffe falls on the ground, and the guy tries to leave, and the bartender goes, you can't leave that lion there. And the guy goes, oi, it's not a lion, it's a giraffe. Maybe it's a lame joke, but it kind of gave me a smirk. I'm like, oh, yeah, lion, like lying, like, yeah, I get it. And I watching this video, I forgot that the female lead, Naomie Harris, she's the woman who would play Moneypenny in the James Bond films, in Skyfall and Spectre. Naomie Harris, yeah, so future Moneypenny in the James Bond films. I mean, wow, that's cool, looking back on this. And this movie also has Brendan Gleeson, who I enjoy as an actor. He would be in films like Lake Placid, who I like. I liked him in that film as well. And I liked that movie in general. And you get some sad scenes. Cillian Murphy wants to go home, and his parents' home. And I thought this was a really sad scene. Emotionally sad scene where he finds his parents in bed together with each other. And you realize they committed suicide because they didn't want anything to happen to them. And another thing, I like the soundtrack to this. I always have, ever since I first saw the movie in theaters. I think the score, as well as the songs they picked. Score by John Murphy, who I think also did Sunshine. He did a fantastic job on that score, too. He did a great job, and also certain songs that they pick, including... And this scene here, the song amplified the sadness, and he finds like a picture of his parents with him as a kid, and then there's a note like, we want to sleep just... I forget the exact words, but we want to sleep just like you. Like, we left you sleeping, now we're going to go to sleep too. Please don't wake up. Please never wake up. And just the way it was done, it was... Man, it really made me feel sad, like bad. I thought it was handled very well. And it's like he's watching a movie with him and his parents, but it's in his head, remembering his parents. So I like that they didn't just shrug that off. They had another scene, like, hey, you know, this guy would feel something that he find his parents dead. I'm glad they didn't just shrug it off. And certain things they do with sound. In this instance, when he's thinking about his parents, you have this POV going to the house, and it's silent. And all of a sudden, boom, a crash through the window, some infected get killed, but then his, Naomie Harris is her partner, he got bit, and so she has to cut him. I mean, she has to kill him. And she explains, you can't hesitate. to Cillian Murphy. You can't hesitate because blood gets in through your saliva or blood in the mouth in a bite wound. You have about 10 seconds and then you're going to turn. So you can't, you got to kill in a heartbeat. And that's sort of the first part of the film. The second part of the film is these two finding a building with some blinking lights in a room, and they go up there and they find Brendan Gleeson and his daughter. I like that there's Brendan Gleeson has this like riot shield and fucks up these infected people and then brings them in and he takes all this stuff up. And underneath he's just very gentle. He's a big but very gentle, nice guy. And I thought Brendan Gleeson did a really good job. Very likable character. He's just jolly and nice, doesn't treat him like shit, isn't an asshole at all. Trying to do the best that he can. You can tell he loves his daughter. Very likable character. And he tells about this radio transmission about this place that is 20 some miles away, maybe more. No, I think it's farther because it takes them a while to get there. And this also has some nice bits of humor. When they go underground, tunnel, and Cillian Murphy even goes, you see, this is a really shit idea. You know why? Because it's really obviously a shit idea. No, I'm telling you, this is a shit idea. I thought there was a nice scene of suspense of them trying to change his tires. This infected is coming. There's one scene that I swear they were influenced by Dawn of the Dead. George Romero's Dawn of the Dead is my favorite zombie film of all time. It's one of my favorite films of the 1970s. I love George Romero's Dawn of the Dead. I also really enjoy the remake of Dawn of the Dead, but George Romero's Dawn of the Dead is from 1978 is my favorite. This has to be a nod to it, with the way the music and these four just shopping for food and sort of, you know, hey, no one can stop you. You can get anything you want, and there's a bit of humor in there. That has to be a nod to Dawn of the Dead, where they were shopping for food, and like Ken Forey's talking with his buddy, and you know, which meat should we get? Hey, the big salami. Same with Brendan Gleeson telling Cillian Murphy, no, don't get that bottle. You gotta get a good bottle of alcohol. Oh, this is from the year, I forget the exact dialogue, but so I liked that scene. You have one scene where Cillian Murphy has to kill this infected kid. And the second part is sort of these four almost becoming a little family in this journey. And some really nice looking shots. For example, when they drive by these windmills. And my favorite piece of music in the film, my favorite piece of music is this. It's by Brian Eno. It's called An Ending Ascent. And I remember seeing the first trailer 20 Days Later. That was a trailer I saw that had that piece of music in it. It made me want to go see it. I don't know if it was. We had cable at the time, so maybe I saw it on. I know there was on E! Entertainment. There was a coming attraction show that would show trailers of movies that was coming out. That's something I always try to catch whenever I can. So maybe I saw it on there. A trailer to that. But anyway, this scene, that's my favorite piece of music. Again, I really enjoyed the music, the soundtrack, but that's my favorite. Brian Eno's An Ending Ascent. I think it's a beautiful piece of music. And it's sweet. You know, they're sweet. They're having a little picnic. They see some horses. You see that Brendan Gleeson, he's a sweet guy. You know, waves goodbye to the horses. The Naomie Harris, her character, Selena, she's letting down her guard. She's not so uptight and just about herself like she was when she first met Cillian Murphy. But they get to where they need to go. There's no one there. But unfortunately, there's this crow picking at this body, and Brendan Gleeson makes the mistake of, shooing it away and looking up, and a drop of blood gets right in his eye. I thought that was well filmed, so the POV of the drop. And also, that's not something I would have thought of, but it's kind of interesting the way he gets infected. Typically, someone comes out, bites you, or coughs in your face. But I thought this was an interesting idea where a crow or a bird picked at a dead body, and it seems animals are not affected. Well, monkeys were affected, so I'm not sure why that crow wasn't affected by it. Because, again, they tested on monkeys, unless it just affects monkeys and people. I don't know why the crow wasn't infected, now that I think about it. I don't know. Maybe it was, and that would have been a different movie. The Birds 3. But it's still an interesting idea that it was a bird and it flew over and blood dropped into his eye. I thought that was an interesting way of doing that. And I remember in the theater when that scene came, because I liked Brendan Gleeson's character, and when that happened, I went, fuck. I literally went, damn, man, I like that character. Shit. And that's when I knew the movie was working for me. I knew beforehand, but I cared about a character, and he got infected. I went, damn, man. Damn, that sucks. Now, apparently in the script, and you only see this by storyboards, this is where an entire new ending would have happened, where the four of them, with Brendan Gleeson being infected, but, I don't know, somebody was kind of infected, or he was restrained, or something of that nature, and they were going to this research station, and then there was this doctor, and he's like, well, the only way, there's one way, a full blood transfusion, and then Cillian Murphy would give up his own life so that this girl could have her dad, and, infected are coming in, so they gotta battle them too. And so, Brendan Gleeson would be alive, but then Cillian Murphy would sacrifice himself. But then the director and the writer, Alex Garland, I think he went on to help write Dread with Carl Urban. I could be wrong on that. But I remember them saying, well, that doesn't make sense because we've stated one drop of blood can affect you. So what? Are you going to give a full blood transfusion and scrub out his veins too? Like, how is that going to make any sense? 100%. Well, you're going to scrub his veins so that there's no infected blood too of one drop? So they dumped that, so it became this new third act, which it has some similarities to Day of the Dead, George Romero's Day of the Dead. Now, I would say if I had to pick, George Romero's Dawn of the Dead, I would put above this. I would put George Romero's Day of the Dead above this. But I still like this movie. If I had to pick, I would say the third act is of less interest than the first two, with dealing with the soldiers. Again, it just made me think a bit too much like Day of the Dead. Although that segment alone is better than the remake of Day of the Dead, I'll say that. Just the soldiers weren't really that interesting of villains. They weren't bad actors or anything. It was a lesser interesting point of the script for me. But what I liked about it was pretty much the whole gist. They get brought in by these soldiers after killing Brendan Gleeson. They have this one infected guy chained and kept alive to study. They realize, well, maybe these things will starve to death, and how long will that take? And then the commanding officer tells Cillian Murphy, I promised them women to repopulate. He's being brought up to be shot. He escapes. And what I did like about the third act is that Cillian Murphy definitely has more to do. as our lead character, and he sort of becomes a badass. I like that. He sort of becomes a little bit of John Rambo's going too far, but he's taking action. He gets the soldiers where he needs to. He beats the fuck out of one, kills one. He finds the infected soldier after he travels back, shoots the chain off. The lead stabs one guy. The soldier he let off his chain starts going around and chomping on others. And you actually have a piece of music that would show up in the sequel in a heartbeat. That bow, 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 bow. I'm doing. I can't do this song. I do a shitty job of it, but I forgot that it was in this movie. I thought that was just something that was in the second movie when the father character in that film leaves at the beginning, somewhat beginning of the movie, and escapes and leaves his wife behind. But it's actually in this too. But this guy, Cillian Murphy, reason I say he's the badass, not only is he taking out these soldiers and it's sort of in a cat and mouse with these infected, but he kills one who has Selena, Naomie Harris's character, just beats the fuck out of her, just smashes his head against the wall, gouges his eyes out, beats the fuck out of him, comes up to Selena, and then she's ready to kill him but stops. And she's ready to kill him, wondering, is he infected? Is he not? Granted, I'm thinking, well, why doesn't he just talk? It's like, Cillian Murphy, just talk to her. You're standing there and she's got this, like, machete. Just say, Selena, it's me. You could have done, I mean, why you didn't do that, I don't know. Although I do like the moment where he comes by and she doesn't. Because before she said she'd kill him on a heartbeat. But she stops and he looks at her and he goes, that was longer than a heartbeat. So, granted, logically it doesn't make sense. He could have just said, hey, Selena, it's me. Because these things are not going to talk. But I like the moment, so I'll forgive the logic of it because I like the moment. What can I say? And then that leads into the original ending of the film was going to be the lead guy gets shot, and then the commanding officer gets killed. Selena and the little girl try to revive him. He dies of his wounds, and then those two are left to survive. But audiences didn't like that, so they reshot the ending so that Cillian Murphy's character did live from his wound, and then the three of them hold this banner out and they get the rescue, which I prefer. I prefer that. And if you're wondering what's on for features, you get a commentary by director Danny Boyle and writer Alex Garland, 3 alternate endings, 2 where Cillian Murphy's character dies, and there's like little differences between, and then the 3rd is that long storyboard ending. Pure Rage, the Make Your 28 Days Later featurette, which is not too long. Music video, still photo galleries, trailer, a few other little things. But I prefer the ending because I liked these characters. I like Cillian Murphy, so I like seeing him get rescued. I definitely say this was a more satisfying ending than the sequel. And I'll be honest, the sequel is okay. I'll get to that. The sequel, I watched that again too, this one, and it's okay. I don't agree with Maxim better than the original. I'm sorry, I disagree. I will review this next, but quick, like, Imogen Poots, the daughter, and then her little brother, they're okay, but I like these characters more. I like Cillian Murphy and Naomie Harris and Brendan Gleeson a lot more than Imogen Poots, who would later be in the Fright Night remake, and her little brother. I like Jeremy Renner, but I wish he was given more to do and had a better fate. Also, the ending to this, I don't find satisfying. I'm sorry, I don't. Especially, I know there's been talks of a sequel 28 months later, but I don't think it's ever going to get made. And by the way things are going, they could make 28 years later, and it will actually be 28 years later. I like the characters in here more. I like the pacing in this one more. And I just like the characters a bit more. This is not a bad movie. I'm not call this a bad movie. It has quite a few decent sequences. It was cool to see Jeremy Renner and Idris Elba in an early role before they really became famous. Robert Carlyle did fine. Harold Perrineau, he's been in quite a few films. He was in the Matrix sequels as Link, the guy who was the pilot of the ship that Morpheus and them were on. He's been in quite a few other stuff, which I'll get to when I talk about this. But anyway, if I had to pick, I easily enjoy this one more. This one just felt more, I don't know. Not only because I liked the ending more, found it more satisfying. Not only do I like the characters more, but just something about it just gave me a bit more of a punch. I don't know what it is. I don't know how to put it. So, again, I don't hate this film. I like this okay, but I prefer this one. Maybe I'll explain that more when I talk about this. But either way, I enjoyed 28 Days Later. I enjoyed it when I first saw it in the theater back in 2002, give or take. 2002, 2003. I think around 2002. I still enjoy it to this day. Anyway, thanks for watching. Take care, and we will see you later. Bye-bye.